Hello everyone and welcome to the ESL Go4 number 11. We're diving straight into a race here, and yes, we are doing ESL Go4 and we're on Project Cars 2. The sound's going to be a bit weird just because the sound didn't record for the actual live stuff, so you got the replay sound in the background. As you can see, TM Murphy got a brilliant start there from second place, and the fact that I was even on pole here I was quite surprised with, because I'd had 15 minutes practice beforehand. I'll happily accept I got the world record in that 15 minutes, but even so, 15 minutes practice straight into ESL, and we're doing fairly well, to be honest. So initially, as I say in every ESL Go4 video, the aim of the game is to qualify for the semi-final, and then likewise in the semi-final go for the final. So you see I let off there. I want TM Murphy to go for it a little bit. The pack's right behind us. Messing about that chicane is not really what I want at all. I just want to make sure I qualify. As you see there, I'm just lifting off a little bit. Obviously slipstream and everything else in there. I don't want to hit him off either. And as you can see on the TV camera, there's 4 cars in with a shout, and there's only 3 qualification spots. So I am wanting Murphy to move away a little bit as we go on to lap number 2. As you can see, we built up quite a nice gap now, approaching 3.5 seconds there. I'm thinking, we can have a bit of fun now. Let's have a bit of practice with the overtaking for this track, because as I say, 50 minutes practice, so we get a good run out of that hairpin. I always had a good run out of that hairpin in all of the rounds I did in this ESL Go4, but here we go. So he defends it inside very nicely there. I can't really do much here. Go for the cutback. He's got the middle of the road covered there very nicely, but we get a good run out the corner, and we're going to get a bit of slipstream as we head towards the first corner once again. Initially I think he's going to go left, but he doesn't go left. I think, oh, okay, thank you very much, I'll go left then. And he's obviously looking for the good run, so he lets off the brake and goes back on. He's trying to obviously defend that inside line by getting ahead. Didn't work out. He ran a bit too wide here, so I'm going to try and go for the cutback here. Perfect corner to the cutback at Zolder, but I also know he's got a penalty from running too wide at that first corner, and as you can see, he drops off. I take the lead, and there we go. Look at that. We get a nice little gap, and we can then start pushing and practicing a little bit of the laps with the tyres, because as well, we got tyre wear on, remember, and fuel, so the car changes lap by lap. And as we get to lap number 6, I'm in the 140s at the moment, so obviously I'm not fast enough for where I want to be. We need to be in the 139s in the race as well. So we continue on around the last corner, and we head towards the start-finish line. And between this qualifier and the semi-final, I'm going to do a little bit more practice with my teammate Matty. Matty's racing as well. He's in the opposite semi-final, so look at this. We qualify in seconds this time, and we're well in there. Relatively evenly paced with Popsu and Tutuna, who've been racing for quite a while. Popsu making every ESL Go4 final so far. Really well played by Popsu. As we set off, as you look on the TV camera, Popsu gets a really bad stop. I don't know that. I didn't know that was Tutuna. I couldn't even see him. As you saw on my camera, I could not see Tutuna just because of the angle. Murphy gets an incredible start. Gets a bit too cheeky in my opinion. Trying to go from 6th to 1st on the start-finish straight. Bit of a nudge there, but no worries. He backed out of it. So we're side by side. I then run a little bit wide. It's not too wide. There's loads of room on the left-hand side. So that's where we really need VR, to be honest, so we can see each other. But even so, I'm still in the lead at the moment, unbelievably. So I'm side by side with Tutuna into this right-hander. And look how close that is. Murphy just accelerates too much. I think he hits the back of Tutuna there. Yeah, we're side by side. So I'm going to have a good run here. And Tutuna backs out of it. See, that's a sign of good racing there. Obviously, the person who's ahead, you just give them the space, because they're going to brake later at that point. Just come in behind. You've got 8 laps. You're in second place. As I always say, all you're here to do is make the final. Final's where the prize is. So we're in first place at the moment. Now we're going to defend from Tutuna if he wants to attack. I don't know if he's going to attack or not. The 6 drivers relatively close here. And obviously, I got second, so I'm not going to be too slow at this point. A 139.1 is a good lap time. I can get in the 138s. I know that much. So as we continue onto this hairpin, I just run a little bit too deep here, and I noticed that in this semi-final I was running deep quite a lot at that hairpin. So I do actually continue to learn in this to better my laps, and they do get better as well. As you can see, Tutuna right behind me still. I'm still trying to figure out this combo. As we come out of the chicane, the last corner, and head towards the start-finish line. I'm thinking, is Tutuna going to go for it? Go for it here. Looks like I've had a pretty good run out there. So he's either holding off a little bit now with the slipstream, as you can see, he gets closer, 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 closer. Thinks that he can't actually make the move there, or perhaps backs off. Who knows? He may be thinking how I'm thinking. Let's just get to the final. but we continue on to this right-hander. Again, running wide, and you're going to see why I'm running wide in a little bit. I go, oh, yeah, I've not changed my brake balance yet. And even that 2 brake balance difference, or 3, sorry, brake balance difference does make a difference. You know, it does help with trail braking into corners. Trail braking with more of the brakes over the front does have an impact. Now there's more brakes to the rear. We should be able to turn in a little bit more. The car will be a bit more loose though. As you can see, 229 relatively close to me there. I hit the chicane bang on. You can see the gap I make there straight away. I was nailing chicane really well in this race. Lap 7, I've been pushing hard. You can see on the left my lap time. Lap 5, sorry, a 1:39.4. Very fast in the race, when bearing in mind with the tyres. But as you can see, I get a slowdown. I was pushing hard. I wanted to test the car's limits with the tyres. It's a 12-lap race in the final. I had loads of time to 6th place, 13 seconds. Enough for this slowdown. So I take this slowdown, and I am keeping a lookout for 229. I can just see that there, and I'm hoping that the penalty's done. There we go. All nice and done. So we can come in behind 229. I could get on with the race, but we advance to lap number 8. Nothing really changes. I'm not going to push him at this point, but we do try and keep going for these laps. As I say, lap 5, 1:39.4, so it's definitely very low 1:39s earlier on in the race, maybe even a 38, who knows. So I do feel I'm on pace at this point now, with obviously the fastest guys in the Go4. So we cross the line, happy with that performance in the semi-final. Unfortunately, my teammate doesn't make it into that. Into the final. You can see the lap times there, 1:39.4. So happy with that pace. And what I didn't do, and I really should have done between the semi-final and final, is practice, because the other semi-final didn't get even going yet. As you can see, I qualified 4th in the final, 1:39.0. Very happy with that. Jordier with an amazing lap. 7 tenths he gained in the middle sector. He really nailed that lap. Fair play. I lost 4 attempts in a part of it, or 3 attempts or something like that in my lap, so I was really happy with that. But 4th place, I can fight for the victory here. So we're going to the first corner, side by side with Tuna once again, as we come into the first corner. I know he's there somewhere. As you can see, he just makes an appearance occasionally, and there's Tutuna defending that position. Well played by Tutuna. 3rd place, giving me room on the outside as well. Now I can't really turn in much more without affecting ping distance and all that lot, so I've got to give Archon room as we come into this right-hander. And coming into this right-hander, I get a bit of understeer, a bit too much understeer. I hit the gravel trap, but that's not all with this gravel trap. I get a slowdown penalty. How going in the gravel trap it also gets you a slowdown penalty is beyond me. As you can see, I realised what the difference problem is there, so I want my brake balance to the lowest it's actually been yet, so that's 44, and we'll see what happens with that later on. But as you can see, that slowdown cost me. But then I'm thinking, okay, 6th place, I'm still conceded leaders, we can still fight, that's all good. And then I accidentally cut that chicane. I don't get how you can cut the right chicane like that, only just cut it, but we can cut the left so much more. The left doesn't get the penalty, but the right does. Really don't get it. So another slowdown penalty on lap 1. Really frustrating. And we're going to fall quite far down the pack at this point. But we don't give up in racing, do we? So we just start accelerating as the penalty goes off. We can at this point, so we're sort of joining the field there. And we defend off Cooper. I think that's fair, to be honest. Think otherwise, let me know. I didn't hear anything from Cooper. Obviously, I'm still racing. You know, I'm not going to not defend that position. I'm just trying to lose these stupid penalties. Way too strict on the penalties, in my opinion. I think, personally, I think the penalties should be strict, don't get me wrong. I think what they've done to make it stricter is better, but I think they need to look at each track individually and look at the racing line a little bit more. So where I explained on that chicane, where I got my 2nd slowdown, if I can cut the left as much as I can, like, you know, with where I'm cutting the curb, etc., I should be able to do the same on the right hand side. It feels a bit inconsistent, and I shouldn't get one for going in the gravel trap. If there's a gravel trap there, that's more than enough of a slowdown. It really hampers you. As you saw, Archon got a huge amount of distance. Pops who got by as well, and I literally lost so much time. I was just lucky that there was a big enough gap. There must have been an accident or something on the first corner that yeah, you know. Even so, let's carry on with the racing. We're racing Mr. Van Omen here, and just slight tap there, coming into there, very close to the edge. It's just enough room there. I mean, obviously, I've not raced this guy before. A slight tap is just a slight mistake, and it's a very tight track, remember, as well. I really should maybe have backed off a little bit here, but I'm trying to push at this point because I'm really frustrated with this damn shortcut penalty. As you see there, look how much of that I cut, and I don't get a shortcut penalty. So I don't understand why that is. It'd be nice, I suppose, if Project Cars 2 does something like Gran Turismo, where perhaps rather than having to slow down instantly, because not all shortcut penalties are perfect. You know, Gran Turismo has problems with it. Its penalty system is very hard to nail. You know, no game is going to nail it perfectly. Maybe have it as a countdown, a bit like Gran Turismo, so that if it is a problem, at least you can carry on racing until the end, and then at the end, maybe you take that time penalty back. As we look to the inside, don't do it yet. Maybe we can then take that penalty a bit later on. If it is a mistake, we can take it, you know, and then we rectify that anyway. Otherwise, it's a time penalty anyway. You know, the plus penalty that you can get. And yeah, we're not having to slow down straight away and lose a massive amount on the first lap, because I thought that was really unfair. Even so, let's carry on with this racing. We're racing this guy here, Mr. Van Omen. We saw Tutuna had gone off on the last corner, maybe a penalty, not sure. So we're up to 9th position, lap 3, and we're going to try and push hard this time to try and overtake him. Now I'm going to keep putting pressure on him because of these slowdowns. I want to get as far up this grid as possible. You never know who's going to get slowed down. Storm, Jardier, Archon, top 3 at the moment. They could get slowdowns. We can still be in with a chance of winning this. As we go to the right side, now you'll see him just leave me a bit more of a gap, but the perfect amount of space comes into here. He definitely cuts that chicane there, so he does the right thing here, moves to the right side, lets people go and takes his slow down. Really well driven there. I had no complaints with the contact on the prior lap either. It was just very close. Look at the amount of cut there, it's crazy, and I don't get slowed down for that. So we keep racing now. We're up to 8th place. We're bringing Cooper with us. Remember Cooper at Hockenheim? We had a cracking race with him there until that unfortunate incident with TXR07 at the hairpin. So we're going to keep pushing once again. Now we've got another ACR driver up ahead. It's Alex. I think he's called Alex from the stream that I've been watching. So we'll see what we can do there. Then we've got Bo. We had a race with him. It's Mark somebody, but he's got abbreviations as Bo. And in front of him we've got Popsu. So you know we're catching up this gap finally. In front of Popsu we've got Iceman as well. Iceman, very clean racer. We saw what happened there. Alex there got a penalty. Gained another spot, and this is literally the race of penalties. That's all I will say. So we're coming up to here. The chicane. Who's going to get a penalty this time? Who's going to get the penalty? It's Mark. Unfortunately, he's going to get a penalty here. You saw he ran really wide on the right part of the chicane. So he moves over again. I love that, you know, everyone is racing clean, gets to slow down, we move to the right side, lets other drivers know we have the penalty, and we can continue racing fair and square. So I'm thinking, yes, 6th position. I can see 5th and 4th place here, and I'm catching like no tomorrow. So I'm going to push like hell. And, you know, with them battling, I can still catch them up. You saw what I did there, didn't you? A slow down penalty. And the guys behind are battling, so I've managed to build up enough of a gap, fortunately, that this slowdown happens and I can keep this position. As you can see, they're all fighting like crazy. Oh, look at the TV camera there. Amazing stuff there to try and go too wide through there. I think it did work out, but only just. So again, look, we've gone up to Popsu and Iceman again, and Popsu's got a penalty this time, so we're going to pass Popsu. As a race of penalties, they really need to look at these penalties a little bit, because while I don't think the penalty system is too strict, I think it's strict in the wrong places. As I was explaining, if you can cut the left so much, you should be able to cut the right the same amount as the left. You shouldn't have different gaps. And on some of these, you can't even cut this corner. You clip the curb any more than that, you're going to get a penalty. But we're behind Iceman now, so we're thinking, yes, right, okay, here we go. Let's push for 4th position, and let's see what we can do. The gap to the leaders is staying the same. As you can see, Popsu slowed down for his penalty. Still got a plus 2 second slow down on top of that. Penalty. Insane stuff. You can't run too wide on the exit, even though there's curb in there. As we come to this right-hander. Very tricky right-hander this, because if you turn in too early, you're going to run well wide. We nailed it right this time, and we are catching Iceman. And as you can see by the lap times, they're all over the place with all these slowdowns and all sorts of weird stuff happening. Going into this corner though, I get a load of understeer. For some reason the car did not turn. Oh no. Oh no, we know what's going to happen here, don't we? Slow down. So you can see my frustration there. I'm in the gravel. How the hell do I get slow down as well on top of the gravel? I'm not gaining an advantage. I lost loads of time to Popsu. Anyway, I moved to the right side, as you should do. And then I'm going to accelerate onwards. So Alex behind me, he's also got a slow down, so he moves to the right side. Now Cooper's back behind me. Cooper must be thinking, Jesus, Tidgney, will you please stop slowing down? That's all I can think he's saying. But anyway, we're going to continue racing. We want to catch up to Popsu and Iceman and at least get 4th position. So I pushed like hell. I am pushing like crazy. As you can see, I've gained a lot of time up to these guys. Coming into here, I lose some rate a little bit, and now that's because of the brake balance being at 44. Doesn't click because I'm like furious at this point. I'm trying to put in some fast laps. My fastest lap at 1:39.8. I can do so much better than that. You saw that in the last race. Anyway, we advance to lap number 12 now, and we're 3.2 seconds off Popsu. So I'm thinking if I push here, I can get within that 2-second window, and as you can see, it's coming down all the time. We're up to about 2.7, I think. Oh no, 3.1, sorry. I'm trying to do maths on the fly here, but you can see I'm pushing like hell, even though it's the last lap. Under 3 seconds now, about 2.9. So obviously 9 attempts on the lap. I can gain that in the chicane if I push like hell. That is my main game here. So I'm going to keep pushing, keep pushing. Are we going to get Popsu? As you can see, we're plus 0.085. That's how close we are. But we come into it and we really lose the rear this time. Oh, that's what tyre wear does, and putting the brake balance more to the rear. So we catch that, and I can see Cooper coming. So Cooper obviously slowed down for the chicane. And I defend this line. So now we've got pressure off Cooper. As I say, Cooper must be thinking, what the hell is Tidgney doing? So we're not going to get 5th place now, but are we going to keep 6th? That's the question. I'll be happy with 6th at this point. You know, we started in 4th. We went down to 10th or 11th for some crazy position down there. We made our way all the way back to 6th. Went up to 5th, back down to 6th. We've had 2 near-offs. 4 slowdowns or 5 slowdowns. God knows how many slowdowns. And we're still in 6th. So we're obviously doing something right. One thing I will look at in another video is this loose versus stable setup thing, and I'll show you how to do it literally in video form. As we come into this last corner, and here at this point I'm just trying not to get a penalty, and we come around the last corner. So no penalty there. 6th position, we'll take it. You know, at the end of the day, we've still come 6th, and we crossed the line. Really frustrating. As you see, Storm won. Storm didn't technically win in the end. It was given to Archon. Storm was given a penalty for contact with Jardier. Jardier was racing clean. Storm just did a bit of a dive bomb, which I didn't agree with at all. But that's it from ESL Go4. Quite a long video. There's a playlist there if you want to watch any more ESL Go4s. Some quite fun ones. Hockenheim is a classic if you want to go watch that one. But that's it here. So thanks very much for watching. I will see you in the next video.